Hey everybody, thank you so much for getting on this call and watching this video. I'd love to introduce my friend Lori Woosley-Uden. She's been with the Juice Plus company in Tower Garden since about 2002, and the education that she's gotten over the years through Juice Plus and the experiences she's had and the people she's met have served as a catalyst in her life in two areas, not just her health, but also in her profession. Lori and her husband live in rural Nebraska, and she loves to garden, hike, camp, and of course travel. She's very passionate about helping others and educating them about natural alternatives to find solutions for better health for them. And I met Lori about a year ago, and her passion for others is just evident when you meet her, and her beautiful glowing smile just is contagious to everyone she meets. And her key to success is being authentic, investing in personal growth and development, and she just loves helping people as much as she can. So Lori, take it away. I'm excited to hear your talk on omegas today.
Well, thank you, Melissa, so much for that incredible introduction. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate everybody on the call tonight. We have a brand new member of our family, and it is the Juice Plus Omega Blend. And the thing that I find the most fascinating is it's not just omega-3 or 6. It's 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So look what's new. We can see the ingredients, and I'm going to go over those in detail a little bit later. But the one thing that's so cool about it too is it's made from plants, not fish. And I don't know if anybody in the audience ever has had an issue with fish oil, but I could never get used to the habit because I kept burping up fish. So right now I want to show you a great little video that's going to explain so much about this new member of our family.
What are the essentials in life? To lead a fulfilling life, you have to make good choices, including how you take care of your body. Did you know the human body cannot make certain omega fatty acids? That's why we have to add them to our diet. But that's not always easy. Omega fatty acids are known to support a number of health benefits, especially for your vision, brain, and heart. As most people don't get enough good omegas in their diets, we created the Juice Plus Omega Blend to bridge the gap between what we should eat and what we actually do eat, containing omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 from all plant-based sources. To create this truly unique and 100% vegan blend, we chose algae instead of fish, the original and purest source of omega-3. Combined it with native cold-pressed oils from pomegranate, sea buckthorn, raspberry seeds, safflower, and tomato seeds in a capsule made from tapioca root. To ensure the maximum quality of the nutrients, the capsule is fused together using an advanced technique, avoiding the need for higher temperatures. So taking care of your body has never been easier. Juice Plus Omega Blend, the good choice.
I'm going to show you here a couple of things that I want you to look at on this label. So when you compare the Omega Blend with the Nordic Omega, take a look at the section that has the acronyms, the EPA, the DHA. Well, notice that on the Juice Plus Omega, we have something that's called ALA, and I'm going to go through all three of these acronyms next. But you can see on the product that's called the Ultimate Omega, it doesn't have the ALA, and it only has omega-3, where ours has the 5, the 7, and the 6, and the 9. And I'm excited to show you why that's so important. So first of all, what is DHA and what does it do? It is such an important factor for a healthy structure of the function of the brain, and especially when you think about a pregnant lady or a nursing mother to develop the brain in their children. Now, when you look up EPA, you're really going to find that it's always accompanied with DHA. But I'm going to take you to that bottom bullet point, which addresses EPA by itself, and look there where you see it reduces infections after surgery, improves wound healing, and it shortens recovery time. And that's important because I'm going to address that later in my talk. But if we hop back up to the top, we can see that it's good for the brain and the retina, which is the eyes. We're going to see improvements in the cardiovascular system. And then that third bullet point where the human growth and intellectual development, that's that brain again. Now, ALA, remember ALA is in the Juice Plus blend and not in the other brand's product. And why is that important? It has been proven, or it seems to have proven, certain kinds of, it prevents certain kinds of cell damage in the body. But then that next bullet point, look at that. For somebody with diabetes, it can help improve that function and conduction of the neurons in their body. Now let's look at the omega-5 that's in our product. They're finding it in pomegranates, and they discovered it several years ago, and now it happens to be the most potent antioxidant that modern science has found. The omega-6, we're seeing that brain function again. But then look at that second bullet point. It's good for your hair and your skin, maintains bone health, metabolism, and whether you're a man or a woman, if you're still in that reproductive time of your life, it's very good for that system as well. Now, there's a lot here on the omega-7s. It's very hard to find in the plant kingdom, and it's even harder to find in the animal kingdom. But we have found it. Well, we didn't find it, but it was found in the sea buckthorn berry, and we found that it would be a great addition to our omega blend for the omega-7s. And we're seeing, again, this recurring hair, skin, improvement in the cardiovascular. But when we look at what the mucous membrane is, that is something that's in your gut. And when you have a healthy mucous membrane, you're going to have better gastric issues. And I think we can all think of somebody that may have some gastric issues. Our world is full of people that have digestive problems now. So this is very healthy for that. And then lastly, the omega-9. That first bullet point, we're seeing again, the heart and the brain, overall well-being, may reduce cardiovascular. And then look at this third one, increased mood, decreasing anger, and enhancing probably just your overall mood on things. And wouldn't that be nice if we could actually have a better outlook? And then they also show there could be some benefit with those with Alzheimer's. Okay, those are the omegas. Now we're going to get into each of the ingredients that's in the Juice Plus Omega. So algal oil, like the video said, we skip the fish, we go straight to the algae. Eye health, cardiovascular health, improves memory. Look at the pomegranate. We're seeing, supporting the brain health, may prevent against some cancers. And then the cardiovascular health. Sea buckthorn berry, number 1, reduce symptoms of dry eyes. And I'll have a story about that later too. Number 4, fighting depression. We're seeing a recurring theme here about the brain health, the eyes, and the heart. Look at the raspberries. Reduces risk of macular degeneration, strengthens immune function. It can even help with pregnant moms who may be experiencing some nausea. Safflower oil. We've seen all these before. Isn't it great? Reducing the cholesterol, improves hair growth, nourishes the skin. And then our last ingredient is the tomatoes. And it sums it up very nicely and helps maintain mood, may help fight depression, could lower the risk of Alzheimer's. So I love that we have this product that's all made with plants, and they're all so awesome for our body. So have you fallen in love with taking care of yourself? 15 years ago, I had a friend share Juice Plus with me, and I hadn't fallen in love with myself yet, but I began to. And I suffered with chronic constipation. I also suffered with chronic sinusitis. I had 2 surgeries by the time I was 2. I was 35 years old, and I already had arthritis. So I was not loving myself. But Juice Plus became a catalyst for me, and I started learning more about nutrition and flooding my body with plants. And some of those things I mentioned, the constipation, the arthritis, the sinuses, they all dissipated, and I kept getting better every year and every year. But then in my 12th year of my journey, so 3 years ago, I had an issue present itself, and it was with my heart. And the plumbing of my heart was fine. It was the electrical part of my heart that wasn't fine. And although nutrition helps with like 95% of the things out there, it doesn't with the electrical part. And so 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, I ended up getting a pacemaker. And I'm fine, and I'm recovering amazingly. But I could have a very different story today if I had not started taking care of myself 15 years ago. And I want to just reinforce again, on how awesome it is to fall in love with taking care of yourself. And it's an investment that you'll never regret. So I had mentioned that I had a little bit of a story about dry eyes, and but back to the EPA. So the EPA, that bottom bullet point mentioned about recovery after surgery and reducing infection. And I have to tell you that when my nurse took a look at my incision point, and I'm not going to really want to gross anybody out here, but this is 2.5 weeks where I had a pacemaker implanted, and it has been amazing. And I know that it's because I added the omegas in April. Well, my husband added the omegas in April also, and he had some dry skin that it didn't matter how much he itched it just wouldn't go away on a couple parts of his body. And he noticed after about 6 weeks it was gone. And he also used eye drops regularly, daily, throughout the day. And he has noticed that he hasn't needed to use those anymore. And then I forgot to share about my brain fog. I had this issue present itself because of my electrical issue, which my sinus node wasn't working correctly, which meant I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my brain. So for a couple of years, it was like, why don't I quite feel right anymore? Well, now I know I didn't have enough oxygen, so I do now. But anyway, the omegas, I felt so fantastic on them since I started taking them, and that brain fog went away. So when this pacemaker came up 2.5 weeks ago, it was really surprising to me because I felt so great. So that's my story. I hope that you love the information, and I'm really thankful that there's a couple other people on the call tonight that have an equally awesome omega story. So I'm going to let Susie share her omega story with all of us. So Susie, take it away.
Hey, thanks for sharing, Lori. I feel like the omega product came along at just the right time. My husband was on very high dose steroids coming off of cancer treatments. And when you're on really high dose steroids for a long time, you get something that they call as crepe skin. And all the doctors said there's nothing you could do about the crepe skin. But my husband's very lean. He doesn't have a lot of body fat. You know, his skin stuck to his body great. But when you get crepe skin, it just hangs as if you're 100 years old. It looks all wrinkled like it's from a desert. It looks like a bunch of bunched up crepe paper. I guess that's why they call it crepe skin. And the only thing he did differently during that time is to take the omegas. And he actually took twice the amount. So he took 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. And not because we thought it would go away, we just knew it would be another good plant source for him to take. And so it was awesome. He looks 100% normal. And so we're so grateful for that. The other thing that we noticed with him is he had just gotten new glasses, maybe about February or so. And we didn't realize until we learned about all the benefits of the eye health that you just talked about, Lori, that he doesn't even need his glasses anymore. And so it just improved so many things in him as he's, just experiencing some health challenges right now. But he feels 100%, and we are just so grateful that these omegas came around at just the right time for us.
Oh my goodness, that's so awesome. And I know Ron, everybody, and it just makes me so happy to know that this has been so great for him. So thanks for sharing that, Susie. And next we're going to have Jake share her omega story. So Jake, take it away, girl.
I also started taking the omegas back in April. And what I noticed, or what I actually didn't even notice that it was my esthetician. I go to an esthetician every month and have for over a year. It was back early August, and she just was remarking on how wonderful my skin was. She said, you've always had really healthy skin, but it's just really even more so. What is the difference? And I says, well, I've been taking the omegas. And I said, this is really awesome because I turn 52 next week. And she just couldn't believe it. She thought I was really about 40 years old. So, hey, that's a win, right? Gotta love that. And then most recently, this is really exciting. When you started talking about the bone health to me the other day, Lori, it made me realize that I had an injury to my leg, my lower leg, over a year ago. It was about 1.5 years ago. And it was a deep, deep wound to my bone. It was like a deep bruise, and it never really healed. And it was always still very, very sore. But then when you talked about bone health, I reached down and it is no longer sore. So I feel like the omegas have very likely attributed to that healing, because it wasn't long ago and it was still very, very sore. And so this is really cool. I'm really, really excited about, all of these things that we know that are happening in the body. What gets really exciting is all the stuff that we don't know what's happening yet. I mean, there's still all these things that are unknown. And so that's really, really exciting. And, for like roughly $1 a day, oh my gosh, it's so worth it. It is absolutely so worth it for every member of my family. So I've got all of my family on the Omegas, along with the trio and the complete shake mix. Won't go a day without it.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Jake. And one thing that I appreciate you sharing was, we don't know what's going on in the body. And I didn't know that I had that heart issue. So again, it's so it's just powerful. I could go on and on, but I love the power of this statement, and fall in love with taking care of yourself, everybody. I'm so thankful all of you took the time to get on the call tonight, and I'm going to turn it back over to Melissa.
Wow. Thank you so much, ladies. Can you hear me? I came off mute. Okay. That's great. I love the information, and I have only recently begun taking the Omegas. I'm super excited to see what changes I'm going to experience as well after this. But I will say, this week when I've been sharing about the Omegas to people, letting them taste it and seeing that, I put one in my mouth yesterday and it'll start to dissolve, and it tastes like orange. So much more pleasant than those fish oil capsules, right? But one thing I wanted to say about your stories, like Lori, what an amazing recovery that you're having already from that pacemaker experience, and the knowledge that you did have a 15-year investment in preventing, because that's the thing. It's not ever like what's going to happen to you. We're all going to face a health challenge very likely in our life. It's a matter of, when is that health challenge going to present itself, right? So even if you're fairly healthy and you think, why would I need something extra? It's that investment in prevention and preparing yourself to be as strong and capable and powerful as your body can be to help heal itself when you do come upon the health challenges. So that's awesome that you had been doing that and had that perception that you knew these were things that you had been doing good for your body. So that's awesome. Same, Susie, with your husband with cancer. I know every little thing, it's not always just the illness. A lot of times it's the side effects from other medications or other things that pop up when you're dealing with that health challenge. So when he can have success with an improved condition with the skin thing, that's awesome. And improved vision. I mean, does everybody not want that, especially the older we're getting? I don't want to start picking up readers, right? Jake, same thing. Like, it's almost more amazing when someone else notices a change and we hadn't even paid that much attention, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, that's awesome. So thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your stories. They are powerful. That's something that I believe wholeheartedly, that whole food nutrition is way more powerful than we give it credit for. We underestimate it. And just the more we can go out and educate others about what we're putting in our body, having a huge difference in our life is why we're doing this and living the mission of trying to take healthy back, right? So thank you guys for sharing today. Thank you for joining the call or watching the recording. Please share this or get back with the person who shared this video with you. And thanks for taking the time to watch. Thank you guys so much.